If we remember the last video, I talked about genes and alleles and how they affect our body and our traits. We know that there are dominant and recessive alleles. Let us put up a hypothesis that height or skin color is controlled by one gene with two alleles on the chromosome pair. Then there must be little variation in height because of the dominant recessive characteristic of alleles. There would be short and tall people and not average height people like the most of us. Yet in our daily lives, we see height from short, slightly short, average, slightly tall, and really tall people. We also see the same phenomenon with skin color. We see dark, mixed, fair, and white-skinned people. It is clear that our reality observations contradict our hypothesis. So what is causing this difference? The answer is something called a polygenic trait. A polygenic trait is influenced by two or more genes. Typical polygenic traits are height, eye color, and skin color. There is no single gene that tells you if you are tall or you are short, but multiple genes working together to determine your height. For example, your height is produced by many genes. Some of the genes you have will be dominant and some will be recessive. If you have all dominant height genes, you will be very tall. If you have only recessive height genes, you will be very short. Most of us have a combination of dominant and recessive alleles, and we are of average height. The same concept applies to skin color. Melanin production is controlled by many genes and follows the same mechanism as height. Take a look at this polygenic gene table. You can see that there are dominant and recessive alleles on the side, and in the middle of the table is the mix between those alleles. The darker the box is, the more dominant the traits are. So if you see AABB all in capital letters, that is the dominant homozygous variant, which if you have that for your height, you will be very tall. On the other hand, you can see the entirely lowercase AABB, which if you have for your height, for example, you will be very short. However, most of us do not have this homozygous variant. We are heterozygous, meaning that we have both a dominant and recessive alleles. So we would be somewhere in the middle, and of course, that means we have average height. We have determined that there are polygenic traits, which are the products of many genes working together. But are the genes the full picture, or is there something more? Why do people with better nutrition and exercise grow to taller heights than their malnourished counterparts? Is it because their genes are inherently better, or is there another factor at play? It turns out that our genes are not the end of the story. Our genes form an intrinsic part of our body, but our environment also plays a huge factor. The human body is a highly adaptable machine that can turn functions on and off in response to stimuli from the surrounding. The reason experts tell young people to eat properly and exercise is that these activities stimulates the activation of height-increasing genes and other growth genes, which allows you to reach your full potential. Suppose you do not eat properly, your body will sense that it do not have the resources to increase your growth and therefore will deactivate the growth genes. Thus, it is important to pay attention to your lifestyle and habits. The study of how lifestyles and habits affect our genes is called epigenetics. Take a look at this infographic. We have 70% of our potential in our genes. We have the rest 25% in our lifestyle, and the 5% we have relies on our luck. Some things are just random and you cannot control it. Our genes we cannot change, but our actions we can. Sleep properly, eat a lot, do good exercise, try to avoid stress, and live a happy life. I cannot guarantee that you will turn out the way you want to if you have good habits, but I can guarantee that you will be the best version of yourself if you have a good lifestyle. So do not think about analyzing your genes because they are very complex. And sometimes your genes does not tell the full picture. Instead, focus on what you can do to improve the genes that you already have. Give your genes the best environment to develop, and you will thank yourself later. Thanks for watching. Please stay tuned for my next videos. Thank you.